Thanks for checking out episode 50 of the Unlockable podcast. We started this show way back in 2019 and have released one episode almost every single month for what will be 5 years this November. This is a massive milestone, and Hannah and I can't thank you enough for listening. We've gotten thousands of listens across YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other platforms. It's so meaningful that you guys have listened to us talk about video games for dozens upon dozens of hours, and to celebrate this milestone, we're holding a giveaway. That's right, we're giving away one of 5 physical Nintendo Switch games. They are Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake, Unicorn Overlord, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario RPG Remake, or the Mario vs. Donkey Kong Remake. All you have to do is follow these 2 easy steps. Alright, listen closely. Step 1, give this podcast a positive rating on your podcast platform of choice. Step 2, send one of us a screenshot of that rating and boom, you are in. If you're listening on YouTube, just make sure to like and subscribe and send one of us a screenshot of that instead. It's that easy. You have until June 17th, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. Central Time to get your entries in. Where do you message us? Hit me up at bird.gaming on Instagram or Twitter, or join the Discord and message me there. You can also hit up Hannah if you'd rather at GameGirlAdvanceSP on Instagram. And last thing, this is exclusive to the United States only. So thank you guys so much for listening. This is us giving back to y'all. But that's it. Let's get this show started. Welcome back to the Unlockable podcast. My name's Christian, and I am joined, as always, for the 50th time on this show by the Game Girl Advance SP herself.
That's me.
What's up, dude? I heard you just drove across the country in a day.
Yes, so I was in Colorado a couple days ago, and I was in Alabama this morning. So, good old 12 hours. Boop, boop. It was awesome.
So your month has been crazy busy. We are literally recording on May 30th, planning to get this out in June, unfortunately. But for the most part, we're out here. We're making this work. But yeah, Hannah, you have spent time in Texas. We got to hang out this month, which doesn't even feel like it was this month.
I know.
But we can talk about that later. We have some games to talk about today. The episode topic today is going to be 50 games that we want to play. Thankfully, we're not going to bore you with 50 games each, but we are going to bore you with 25 games each.
You mean you didn't write 50? I wrote 50 easily.
Okay, so 75 games that we want to play.
No, I'm just kidding. But I do have some honorable mentions.
So this was actually like the easiest thing in the world for me.
So easy, so easy.
Because I have a list constantly that I'm always adding to that I'm like, oh, I want to play that someday. And I just went and picked and chose and took some notes for 25 games. But yeah, it took us a while to figure out what we wanted to do. But we are, the requirements for this episode are the games had to come out to go with the theme of 50. They had to come out between 1950 and 2050. So... I
thought you were going to say something else, and I was like, oh, shit. Did I miss that part? Scared me.
What else do you want to talk about before we get this show started, Hannah?
I was just going to say half of this is, like, my backlog, and then half of these will, like, never happen. It's awesome.
Have you ever played any of these?
No. No, I have not. I kept it to ones that I had not played.
For the most part, same. There are a few that I've played a little bit of, but we'll talk about it. Honestly, guys, thank you so freaking much for listening and supporting us for 50 episodes. It's been almost 5 years now. It's 4.5 years, I guess. It's awesome. We wanted to do this for years. We wanted to get this show started, and we talked about it for a long time, and then we bought some microphones and made it happen, and 5 years later, here we are. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I can't believe we started 5 years ago. We were babies. We were so bad back then. Well, I speak for myself. I was bad.
I have not listened to our classic stuff in years.
I think our first one, which is like 43 minutes, I think, would be a tough listen for me.
Honestly, if you're listening, I would tell y'all to suggest like our latest stuff. Don't tell people to start at episode 1. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, when I listen to podcasts, I always tell people to listen to like the latest one, or I give them a specific episode that I really liked. But I even like the podcasts I listen to, I've probably never gone back and listened to like their original episode. I don't know.
I definitely have not.
That's what I would suggest. So if you're ever like, hey, check out the Unlockable podcast, I would definitely give them one that you really like, or just tell them to listen to the latest, because if you're telling people to like check out this podcast and it's like 43 minutes long, and it's like not even like we've got 5 years of experience under our belt now, like it's probably
Yeah,
not a good advertisement at that point.
I
But
agree. Yeah, it's like listening to babies talk.
all right, well, thank you guys so much. We're gonna get this show started here. I figured you could just do your 25 and then I'll do mine.
Really?
No.
Oh, I was about to say, holy crap, we'll be here for
we,
like an hour and a half.
we will be alternating.
Oh, thank God.
I guess I'll let you go first because you always go first.
Me go first? Okay, so preface, mine are not in any particular order. It's just kind of the order that my brain spit it out. So my first one is Little Kitty Big City. Now I think I mentioned this last episode. It was showcased in an indie direct, and it's like the game Stray, where you're like wandering around town as a cat,
Oh
but kind
yeah.
of like Untitled Goose Game style. So you're like kind of causing chaos, meeting friends, doing whatever like a cat would do. So yeah, it's a third person adventure game. Like I said, you control a cute little black cat, and you just kind of are lost in the city, and you're exploring, you're making friends, completing quests, and doing things like catching birds and knocking shit over. It's developed by Double Dagger Studio. This is their debut game. They have nothing else under their belt. It came out on the Switch, I know for sure, because it was in the Nintendo Direct, or Indie Direct, and it's also on Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/X. So if you're out there, it might be on Game Pass, but I didn't look that up. I'm sure it's probably one of those small indie titles that they're like, yeah, this is for free. Anyway, why play? I was super jealous that Stray, all those people got to play Stray on PS4. I was like, I love cats. I want to be a cat. Why not? So this is like a little tiny indie title. I think I looked it up on the eShop and it's like $30. So I don't know if I'll pick it up now or maybe wait for a sale, but definitely want to play it.
Very cool. I definitely recognized the name after you mentioned it. I am going to go with 2007's Portal. Are you familiar with Portal?
No, it doesn't ring a bell. Yeah, of course. Come on now.
All right, Hannah, you concern me at times. I'm happy that you know Portal. This game came out
I
in
know that one.
2007, developed by Valve, and I have never played it for some strange reason. It was a PC game, also on 360 and PS3. Apparently, it's on Switch now. This is one of those iconic games that's like everyone is like, holy crap, you have to play this. What kind of idiot hasn't played Portal? But if you're somehow not familiar and you're listening, it's a puzzle platformer, and you essentially are given a portal gun, and you have to figure out how to get through each area by creating warp portals and literally jumping into them. There are some insanely cool mechanics that hadn't really been done before this game. Um, it's it's as simple as that. There are some real brain twisters, and it gets really tough apparently. And I have access to it. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I own the game on 360, so I should play it.
Just looking at you over there on the shelf saying, play me.
Yeah.
That's fun. I remember it being super big in middle school. Like all the middle school boys were like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing I've ever played.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't have a 360 in '07, so that's how I skipped it.
Well, I didn't. Alrighty, my next one, I'm going to try to say it right because I get it tongue twisted every time. Dragon Quest Treasures. Yes, nailed it. We all know this one. It's a spin-off from the regular Dragon Quest games. I have been a super Dragon Quest spin-off stan. I love all of them. I love Builders 1 and 2. I'm playing through Monsters right now, and it's so much fun. So I think I would definitely like this one. Published by Square Enix. The game was developed by Tose. TOSE. It's a Japanese company, so I believe that's how you say it. They're also known for developing a Nintendo Game & Watch Gallery series, so way back in the day. Apparently they've worked on over 1,000 games over the years, but they're known as like a ghost developer, so like they don't get a lot of credits, but like they've worked on games since 1979. I don't know why they're that way. I guess they just want like an invisible hand
Weird.
on all these games. I don't know. That was really weird. Obviously, it's only on the Switch and obviously the PC if you want to play it there. Why play? Like I said, love the spin off games. Super fun. I think this one's more like an action adventure kind of game. You're kind of just going around to all these lands and getting treasure and stuff. So it's definitely different from the main series. I don't think it's like an RPG. It might have RPG elements woven into it, but nothing like a hardcore RPG. But yeah, looks like a lot of fun.
Very cool. Yeah, I need to play some Dragon Quest, honestly. But we're going to
You
bring
need
up
to
Dragon
play
Quest a little later.
builders, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's like Minecraft, but better.
We
The
had talked
story.
like 2 years ago about doing a Dragon Quest 11 episode.
I would still do it. I still have it.
I also still have it. What is that, like 120 hours of my life?
Yeah. Yeah, it's time for a big, meaty RPG. Let's do it.
My second one is The Secret of Monkey Island. This is a game
Ooh.
from 1990 developed by Lucasfilm Games. This is a genre-defining graphic adventure point-and-click game for the PC that I was not alive for, but I don't have a ton of experience with point-and-click adventures. I played one a few years ago, loved every minute of it, but that was like a very modern game. I feel like a 1990 point-and-click game is probably not something I'm going to super enjoy, but I do want to experience it. It's one of those games that's just apparently iconic, genre defining, like I said. But you walk around, you look for clues, talk to people, interact with the environments, pick up items, and so forth. And a cool thing to note is that it's one of the first games to incorporate a dialogue tree, which we're very used to seeing now. But you can select what you want to say next to a person and have like different outcomes depending on what you select. So that was 34 years ago. So that's a pretty cool thing to be known for, I suppose. But yeah, that's that.
Didn't it come to Switch in like a remastered form? Didn't Limited Run Games do something? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, you're 100% right. There's like the Secret of Monkey Island special special edition. You can get that on all platforms, even
Hmm.
Steam, and I think like graphics are overhauled, like it looks beautiful now, and yeah, it's definitely modern. It's definitely easily accessible on modern platforms.
So would you rather play the modern one or the old one?
I'd like to experience the classic. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure if Steam like sells the 1990 version, or I don't know. I'm sure it's out there some way for me to try it.
I'm sure there's a computer disc somewhere. All right. My third one I talked about last episode. I think is one of the ones I want to play, but Red Dead Redemption. It's the gift that you gave to
Ooh.
me. Um I don't I didn't look to see how long it is, but I think it's a pretty lengthy game. Am I wrong?
No, if you take your time and like there's endless side quests, like you could spend hundreds of hours in there or
Okay,
dozens
that's what
maybe.
I thought. That's what I thought. So I haven't played it yet, but developed by Rockstar Games, we know them. Originally came out in 2010 for the PS3 and 360. But of course, I would play the Switch version. Did it get remade or remastered? I think it was just remastered, right, for the
I feel
Switch.
like it was I feel like it wasn't even that. Like I feel like it was just a port and that's why people were so pissed that it was $60.
Okay, that makes sense. I do remember the controversy. Also, part of the controversy was that the Switch didn't include the multiplayer modes, which I don't know what that is. I just know it doesn't
Hmm.
include it. Um, so yeah, but it comes with Undead Nightmare, which I think is a prequel or like a spin-off or something like that. So you take some, you lose some, I guess. But yeah, it looks really fun. I know it's like the peak, or has been called like the peak of Western storytelling in games. Everyone's used to like Japanese RPGs and how they tell these elaborate stories, but I think this was kind of like a big era, especially with the next one I'm about to talk about, a big era for like Western games. So I think that would be fun to experience.
Heck yeah. Not a lot of competition on that front. The the western Wild West games are not very out there. Oh, you meant like Western, like Western developed.
Yeah, yeah, it's it's quite a coincidence that it's also a Western esque game, but yeah, I meant like over here in the States,
I see.
West.
All right, number 3, PS2 game Klonoa 2, Lunatee's Veil. Pronunciation questionable. This came out in 2001, developed by Namco. I streamed last year the first game, and I'm playing the little Fantasy Reverie remaster thing.
Mm.
Yeah, Namco's been killing it with those, with the Katamari and the Klonoa, and there might even be another series that they do. But really like this first game. It was super good. The first one was a PS1 game. But it's like very fun, very underrated, honestly, and it's like very unique because you're equipped with like a little Yoshi type flutter jump, and you get like a gun that lets you suck in your enemies that I've never seen in another platformer. And that's like a vital part of the game. Like you have to suck in your enemies and grab them, and then like you use them as projectiles like a lot for puzzle solving or for platforming, because if you throw them downwards, it actually gives you more height to your jump, or if you throw them at like a switch or something, obviously you can hit a switch with them. But I think it's technically like a 2.5 dimensional platformer. I didn't like Google the definition of that, but I hear people say 2.5D a lot. But you're playing a 2D platformer in a 3D environment. Like you're interacting with stuff in the foreground and the background.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
that sounds like 2.5 dimensions to me.
Yep, I think that's the definition of.
Perfect. Yes, this second game looks like more of the same, but it looks like, I wouldn't have wanted to change much from the first game. I think that it looks like a really fun game, and I think it released in an era where like decent 2D platformers were few and far between. Like 2001, we're already fully into 3D stuff. People are making 3D platformers. You got your Mario Sunshines. You got an endless supply of 3D games, but the 2D stuff was starting to dry up, and Namco decided to release this anyway. And I'm gonna assume that's why not a lot of people like if I go to any coworker like that knows Mario, they're not gonna immediately know Klonoa. I'm assuming that's the reason. Like it just wasn't very popular when it came out. Yeah, that's what I got.
I think I only know it because the character's like really cute. It's like the little fox looking guy, right? Or is it like
Yeah. I think he's
raccoon?
actually a dog.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Are the games like difficult 2D platformers, or like would it be fun for a novice like me to play?
No, you would enjoy it. It's not too hard.
Okay. Well, your definition of hard and my definition of hard seems different because I've played Donkey Kong 3 with you and you were like killing it. I was awful.
They have a modern baby mode for you, Hannah. That's what I'll
Yes.
say.
See? That's nice. All right, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Maybe we'll give it a chance. So my next one is The Last of Us. I also talked about wanting to play this before. Developed by Naughty Dog, published by Sony Computer Entertainment in 2013. So it's really old. Well, not really old. Is that considered old? Retro? Do we need to have that discussion?
We do not.
Okay, well, it's 11 years old. Console, you can play it on the PS3, PS4, and I think you can play it on the PS5 with like some update or some whatever the hell they call it. I don't
They
know.
remade it
They remade it again?
already, yeah.
Oh god. Okay, that makes sense. Why play it? Because the show was freaking phenomenal. And so I think they said that the show was different enough where you could go back and play the game and it'd be completely different, and it'd also kind of fill in some of these gaps that the show kind of left. I
Oh,
was
nice.
super enthralled with the story. So like being able to explore that world, like me playing it, like I get to experience the things as I want to, sounds really interesting. I know it's gonna scare the bejesus out of me because there's a lot of jump scares, a lot of like zombies, bam, right in your face, loud noises. But I think it would be worth playing because it's such an interesting world, and especially because we're gonna be in season 2, I think next year. that they announced that it's coming out. We should also play that one. Make an episode on that too.
So I will just go ahead and skip to this one on my list as well because I wrote this one down.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm down to do an episode on this, but I'll just go ahead and tack on my notes here. Third-person action-adventure game focuses on stealth. Your enemies are other humans and cannibalistic creatures.
What?
I haven't seen the show, so I don't know what that means. But there's guns, there's hand-to-hand combat, and everyone's favorite from this era, improvised weapons, which just means like picking crap up off the ground and using it as a weapon.
Smacking the shit out of things. Yeah.
That's right. To me, like, it sounds like your typical zombie game, just like from how I've described it a little bit here. But it is critically acclaimed for a reason. I'm sure the story is a huge part of that. You're this dude named Joel traveling across the country to escort this little girl named Ellie across post-apocalyptic America. But yeah, I've wanted to check this one out for years. We can totally do an episode if we want. I actually own this, Hannah, on PS3, PS4, and PS5. I've never played it, and I also don't have a PS5.
I was about to say what? Awesome. Well, I picked it up while I was with you. Last time I think I was with you for the PS3. So yeah, gonna dust off my PS3. I don't even know if it works. Should probably try to see if it works first. But and you haven't seen the show? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, as I was taking these notes, I was like, oh yeah, it's time for me to watch this show for sure. Or maybe I should play the game first. I don't know.
I don't know. It would be interesting if you played the game first and I watched the show first and then kind of like cross-referencing. That'd be cool. Don't watch it. Watch it after.
That's a lot of homework.
Yeah. We're going to take notes too. Yeah. Okay, my next one, I'm going to jump around a little bit, so remind me to come back to 7. This is 8, and it is The Plucky Squire, which I think also showcased in an indie direct. I think a lot of people talked about it. I don't think it's out. I don't think it's out yet. I didn't write the release date. Okay, that's what I thought. It's an indie action-adventure game developed by Possible Futures and published by Devolver Digital. I did write it down. It's actually not out yet. Mwah. You play as a swordsman as he adventures through a magical storybook. So I think what was really cool about it and what people were drawn to immediately is like you're jumping in and out of the pages of a book. So like you're in this kind of like you remember the beginning of Yoshi's Story where like the book opens and you can kind of like pick lands. You remember talking about?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that, but instead of like level based, you're kind of just like jumping in and out and going 2D and 3D and going to like experience all these different kind of worlds, just like you would in a storybook. I think was super cool. It's coming to PS5, Series X and S, and the Switch. Yeah, I thought it was a really cool concept. I love those kind of like interesting little indie titles, which I kind of think is Big Kitty Little City. I don't play a lot of indie games, but this one definitely stuck out to me as one that would be really interesting.
Yeah, dude, this is probably my most anticipated game of the year, which there's not a lot of competition this year, but I am really excited to play that freaking game when it comes out.
Did you write it down too, or are you just saying that?
I didn't write it down. No, I've been keeping an eye on it. I keep an eye on their Twitter. They recently said we're definitely getting this out in 2024. That's all we have from them.
It's going to be like December 27th. That's awesome.
1991 SCAT on the NES. That stands for Special Cybernetic Attack Team. This is a game
Never heard of it.
developed by Natsume. It's on NSO. It is, I've played it for maybe like 30 minutes. It is a fun and challenging run and gun, but not too challenging. It's one of like the rare 2-player couch co-op games of the era where you could actually play simultaneously instead of alternating turns. I love running guns. I don't play enough of them, but funny enough, this game takes place in 2029, 5 years from now. And if the events hold true, we should probably be a little nervous. It says there's a tube that connects an alien space station to New York City. And
Mm.
the SCAT squad has been assigned to correct that issue.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure I heard something about Elon Musk creating a tube in the
Not
space.
Elon. This one looks super fun. It's on NSO, like I said. I will definitely have to play through it, but it was a late release game on the NES, so it's like over $100 for the cartridge, and having
Mm.
this on Nintendo Switch Online is a big win.
Oh, I didn't know it was on NSO. I don't think I've ever heard of the game.
Lots of
Nice.
random Natsume stuff finds its way onto NSO.
They must have a good relationship over there with
I
Natsume.
think so.
That's good. Okay, this one's probably gonna shock the shit out of you. You ready? Endless Ocean Luminous.
Oh my gosh.
I know. They showed it off, and I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And then they said, well, you get to play with 30 other people, and I was like, I don't have 30 friends, but that would be cool if I did. But yeah, so developed by Akira, not even in-house at Nintendo, which I thought it was. They also worked on titles like Street Fighter, Tetris, and the 3D Classic games on the 3DS eShop.
Oh, interesting.
Published by Nintendo. Obviously, this one's on the Switch. You can play with 30 people, which is pretty cool. Basically, you're just kind of like swimming around in the ocean, and you're looking at species, and you're looking at fishes. As far as I know, they're all like real creatures, real
Yeah.
fishes, real whales. You're not gonna get any like fucking weird looking alien ones. But yeah, seems pretty cool. The ocean is pretty ominous, but not when you're playing a fun like cartoony Nintendo game. I want to play it because I think it would be cool to kind of. This has 3 games in the series, by the way, so somebody out here swimming in the ocean. Somebody's enjoying it. First game came out on the Wii in 2007, and then I got a sequel called Endless Ocean 2 Adventures of the Deep. So somebody out there is enjoying it. I think it'd be cool to experience. I'm probably not going to spend $60 on it. I'll probably wait until it goes on sale, and then goes on sale, and then gets clearance to Walmart for like $5. But still, I think it would be fun to experience.
Did I talk about Endless Ocean last month?
No.
All right, I'm gonna make this story super quick, but last month or something, I streamed Endless Ocean Blue World, okay, on the
Oh.
Wii,
Mm-hmm.
and I played it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Wasn't a big fan, but my
Aw.
mother watches my streams, and she doesn't like sit there and watch them for 2 hours, but she'll like
Right.
tune in for a minute.
Yeah.
And she freaking saw this game. My mother, who is not a gamer, who played like Mario and Tetris with me at the most 20 years ago, she was like, "Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. I could see myself like really enjoying that."
Oh.
And she's like, "Do you think that if I got that game that we could play online?" And I had to like crush her and say like, "No, like this
Aw.
is the Wii doesn't exist on the internet anymore." And she was like,
Aw.
"Oh." But then she was still interested. She was like, do you have like an extra Wii? Dude, she came over this 2 days ago on or 3 days ago, and she and I sat down and like fired up the Wii, and she was just playing it, and she really freaking enjoyed it to the point where she took one of my extra Wiis, because everyone has several Wiis in their house. She
Right.
took the Wii home. I gave her the sensor bar, all the crap she needs. I gave her an extra copy of New Super Mario Brothers, and she has started playing Endless Ocean Blue World on the Wii at her house.
Wow. Oh my god. It's the moms. The moms are keeping this series alive. Oh,
So
that's
that
awesome.
was very exciting for me this week.
Huh. Wow. What does she like about it? Just exploring, or did she say?
It's not like an intense shooter game. It's not like, oh, I gotta learn how to play an RPG. It's like, oh, I get to relax after work and go swim in the freaking ocean. She loves like sharks and stuff. Like, she loves the ocean life anyway.
Yeah.
So to just like sit down, point the Wii remote at the TV, and just like go and look at whales and ocean sunfish and all this crap. Like, she's super into it.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for her. I'm glad she found a game that she appreciates. See, gaming is for everybody.
I'm glad that you brought up Endless Ocean. I also was interested when they announced this third one. But I watched a review on it, like a 15-minute review on it, and the dude was like, I really wanted to like this game, but it just is very bare bones. Like, it's almost like they removed content from previous entries. Um, it's definitely not a $60 game. It doesn't look
No.
like it, at least. But yeah, on sale, I could see it being a decent time.
Rats.
All right, let's get back to it. I'm trying to keep these to a minute or less under here, but I had to tell that story. Dead Cells came out in
Mm.
2018. Do you know what a freaking Roguevania is, Hannah?
Yeah. Sure do.
I didn't know what it was. It was a roguelike and a Metroidvania combined, which is already two horrible names for genres.
Hold on.
Um,
We did a whole episode, bro. I know we talked about Rogue and where it got its. I talked about it, where it got its name from, like the old computer game called Rogue. We talked about
yes.
this, homie.
Yeah, we talked about roguelikes. We didn't talk about Roguevanias, but I suppose I
Sure.
should have known.
Sure,
I
sure.
suppose I should have known. I haven't played any roguelikes, but this is a 2D side-scrolling game where you start, do your best to survive, hopefully beat the game in one run. You're not going to do that on the first try though, because it's nearly impossible. So you die and then you lose everything and then you start from scratch. And that's a roguelike in a nutshell. Um, Levels are procedurally generated, so there's like tons
Mm.
of ways the dungeons can be laid out with random combinations of enemies being placed literally anywhere. Um, the game itself looks like it has a really good combat system with dodging being a key focus. There's multiple weapons to choose from and weapon effects to tack on. Um, this one obviously critically acclaimed. This game has gotten so much hype over the years, and it also recently got that Castlevania DLC last year, so all the more reason. I already wanted to play it, but now I really want to play it.
Well, it got a physical. It hold on. It got I think 3 different physicals. So it released, and then it got the Game of the Year edition. I believe. You tell me I'm wrong on that one. Maybe the Switch just got the Game of the Year edition, and then it got the Metroid or the Castlevania included with the DLC edition.
Oh yeah,
It's out
I
there a
did see
lot.
that one.
Do you own the physical?
I
Hello?
own the digital.
Boo. That seems like I own it. I own it twice. uh, Probably not one I'll play. I'll tell you that. It seems like I would tear my hair out.
Yeah, I might hate it, but we'll see.
Well, speaking of ocean, we're gonna go back a little bit. Subnautica is my next one. I talked about this a long, long time ago in the episode where we wanted things ported to the Switch, and then sure as shit, it was ported to the Switch, and I have it. But it's an action adventure survival game. Obviously, takes place in the ocean. Developed by Unknown Worlds Entertainment. Game was released for early access for Windows in December of 2014, so again, an old game, and then made its way to the Xbox in 2016. It got released on the PS4 and Xbox One in December of 2018, and then it finally came to the Switch, PS5, Series X and S in May of 2021. So it's not a new port. It's been around for a long time. But the game sold well enough, over 5 million physical copies, to get a spin-off called Subnautica Below Zero, which if you get the Switch version, I believe it's already packaged in there. So it's the two games together. And then there's a sequel planned for 2025. That's pretty cool. As far as I know, I don't know if it's going to come to the Switch, but I think, you know what, never mind. I'm not going to finish that train of thought. Anyway, it looks pretty cool. I watched a YouTuber play it like a long time ago, and I was like, that looks really fun. Unlike Endless Ocean, though, this one is going to give you spooky jump scares and like weird alien fishes and weird alien whales. So if you're not looking forward to that, I'm also not looking forward to that, but it looks really cool. You're exploring this giant ocean. As far as I remember, the story is like you crash landed on this weird planet and you have to like rebuild your ship. You have to like find the parts that are submerged all over the ocean. That looks pretty cool. I think it's got a really interesting story, which is kind of what drew me to it. Not that I necessarily like to explore alien planets under the water. That looks pretty creepy. But yeah, this one looks fun. I think I would play it over Endless Ocean and then be like, this is really scary, and then jump into some Endless Ocean. For some chill time, you know?
I had to look this up because the name sounded familiar, but yeah, I've definitely seen this before. Very creepy.
Mm-hmm. See? You think it's like nice, peaceful, and then you turn around and there's like a giant fucking alien whale coming at you with giant sharp teeth.
I like the theme though. It's pretty cool. All right. Ys Origin is next on my list.
Wow.
Came out in '06 in Japan. Didn't release everywhere else till 2012. And then, even at that point, it was only on PC. You go another 5 years, it finally comes to Vita and PS4. And then, like, scattered throughout the next few years, it finally comes to Xbox and Switch. So, that game had a long tail on it.
I honest to God thought it came out, like, just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Not like
yeah, I mean,
15 years
maybe it
ago.
was like remastered or something, because it definitely doesn't look like it came out in '06 when you look at gameplay. It looks really good now, but developed by Nihon Falcom. Is that how we pronounce that?
Yep. Nice.
It was a prequel to the other 9 Ys games at the time. Takes place 700 years before the events of Ys 1.
Yeah.
I have to say, I commend them for calling Ys 1 Ys 1, because I've never seen a company like call their game like blank 1. Like they knew there was going to be sequels, so that's pretty cool.
Who would have thought it'd still be going on like 50 years after its inception?
Right. This is an action RPG, and you can choose one of 3 playable characters, each with their own fighting styles, and you can unlock more of the story by playing with each of them. Gameplay is almost like a top-down perspective, but it's more like an isometric angle. And it gives me Mana vibes with the combat, but honestly, I think I might enjoy this more because it's like combat is fast-paced. Mana really makes me flex that patience muscle that I am severely lacking.
Right.
But yeah, this might be one we could do an episode of as well.
I love this game. I don't really like the pixelated, like, kind of older versions of games. I do, but like in very, very small doses. And this was one of those ones that was just like, okay, maybe I do really, really like these. It's super fun. You said you play as 3 characters. That is true, but you have to play through one of the original 2 characters as a male and a female first to unlock the 3rd one. So yeah, I would be down to play, or maybe you have to play both the male and the female to unlock that one. I know that there is a 3rd person because it shows you that there is, but maybe it's not unlocked from the beginning. I don't know. Someone might have to look that up, but yeah, I would play that one again. I played as the male character first. So I'd play with the female character. But hell yeah, I'm down to do an episode. Love that game. Especially because there's been enough time where I don't remember all the things that happen.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's probably shorter than Okami and Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
I don't know about that one.
I thought it was like an 8-hour game. I mean, we haven't talked about it in like a couple years.
I don't know. I remember... I don't know. I think it's like 10 or 15 hours, but it could be longer. I remember spending quite a bit of time on it. But I also like to explore, so you know. But I love that game. Alright. My next one is one that just came out. I had it pre-ordered, and then you told me it sucked, and then I decided not to do it. Do you know what it is? You know what I'm talking about?
No. I thought it would be Endless Ocean based off that description.
Princess Peach Showtime. Peach Showtime.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had it pre-ordered and through Best Buy with the like acrylic stand thing. And then I was like, did you have it pre-ordered? You're like, yeah, I'm going to get that bow. And then I talked to you like a week later and you're like, nah, I canceled that shit. And I was like, no, darn. So I did not spend $60 on it. I did not get the acrylic stand, but I still want to play it anyways. Maybe when it goes on sale or whatever. Anyway, developed by Good Feel. It's a Japanese developer that was founded by a former Konami employee, which was cool.
Oh.
They made like educational games on the DS, like English training and training words and training quiz. So they really got to stretch their wings. But then after that, of course, they
Classics.
worked on... right. These are classics, though. They worked on Wario Land Shake It for the Wii, Kirby's Epic Yarn, and many of the other Yoshi games like Crafted World and all that. So they really do have a history of, like, developing all of Nintendo's, like, chiller games and franchises. I think Princess Peach would fit in that category. Obviously, it's on Switch. Seems like a lot of fun. Like I said, I'd pick it up on sale. I think a lot of the reviews that came out later were like, there's actually a lot of nuance to this game. It's not difficult, but it's like there's a lot of things to do and like a lot of ways to experience this game that would make it different every time you played it. So I think that's cool. But again, on sale, pick it up.
To be fair, I didn't say the game sucked. I said it seems like it might be a another Kirby, what was that game, Star Allies situation.
And guess what? Kirby Star Allies sucked.
I want to give
on
Kirby
now.
Star Allies another chance. I feel like I was mad that
No.
it wasn't a $60 game, but I don't know. It's been like 5 years.
That is, I think I've definitely said this before. It's the only game I have lost in my adult lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not even sad about it, you know? Not even sad about it.
Let's talk Ratchet and Clank from 2002, developed by Insomniac. This is both like a third-person shooter and a platformer. I have played one of the games from the series. There's like 10 games, including spin-offs. I played Into the Nexus, if anyone has played that one. But I would love to play the original and the rest of the series eventually. This is like, I was thinking about it, it's kind of like turning a run and gun game like Contra into like the modern era. Like that's kind of what it's like because you have all these freaking weapons. Wikipedia says up to 36 weapons and gadgets can be bought or found in this game, which is very cool.
Wow.
Lots of variety there. And there's so much more than just like machine gun or rocket launcher. It's like Glove of Doom and Devastator, you know. This is a very cool like sci-fi-ish game. There are puzzle sections as well, and there are some other sections that change things up a lot, and you actually get to play as Clank. For those of you that don't know, that's the little robot that rides on Ratchet's back. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank, very cool series from what I've experienced, and just one of those games I didn't get to play growing up that I would love to play now.
I went to a garage sale a long time ago, and I bought a lot of PS3 games. Like a lot. It was a lot, but like a lot of a lot, you know? You know what I'm saying? Of PS3 games, and he had like 4 Ratchet and Clank games. So at one point, I had 4 Ratchet and Clank games, but I sold them. That's my story.
Scumbag reseller.
That is right. Well, to be fair, I had them for like 12 years, and then I was like, okay, I am never touching these. And then I sold them.
The Great Mercari sale of 2022.
That's right. Yeah, basically, yeah. Okay, I'm also throwing it back with this one. And you said you asked the Discord games before 2000, and this one qualifies. I have one. I have 2, actually, on this list. This is Gex 3, Deep Cover Gecko. Now, this is one that I have played before. Three. That I have played before, but I played it for like 5 minutes, and I was like, maybe not. I think I had bought it after experiencing Gex 2, and then, because it was like, it's the best game ever. And then I played this one, and I was like, this is different than 2, so I don't want to play it. You know, like that mindset, it was like 10 years ago. Stupid little old 16-year-old me. I was like, this ain't it.
I get it.
Anyway, developed by Crystal Dynamics. Came out in 1999, so we just made that deadline. It's a sequel, of course, to Enter the Gecko, which is also on the Nintendo 64. This one's on Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1. I talked about this, I think, I don't remember, but there's different versions of this game, which blows my mind. Each of the consoles got a different version. Some have like different music, some have different levels completely. So that's pretty cool. And it's also in the Game Boy Color, which is like obviously not in 3D. It's like completely 2D, so I don't have no idea how they did that. It builds on things that were in Gex 2. It kind of like fixes the camera a little bit and adds like some things that they just either couldn't use in 2 or just like whatever unused elements. And it is being released obviously in the limited run trilogy that's going to come out who the hell knows when. I think people thought it was going to be out already. But it's not. Anyway, I'd be interested to see if they include the different versions in that trilogy that they're doing. Like, if there's going to be a menu, it's going to be like, okay, you can play the N64 version of these games, the Game Boy Color version of these games, or PS1. Dang. I don't know what they're going to do. Or maybe it's like a filter you can turn on or something. It's like, oh, you want to play... You know what I'm talking about? Whatever they do with all these, like, remastered games. I'm also interested to see if they will make it compatible with the Nintendo 64 NSO controller. That would be pretty sweet, considering it came out on Nintendo 64. I don't know. I just love this game. I think it's kind of fascinating. It's like, he's kind of like a suave, like, maybe not R-rated, but like he's definitely got some things to say that completely go over your head as a child. I don't know. I think it's pretty sweet.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm inexperienced on the Gex series, but I have played a bit in my childhood. Good stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with that trilogy. Hopefully they put some love into it.
Yeah. If it doesn't live up to my standards, down with limited run games.
I'm sure they have nothing to do with that port, aside from publishing the physical.
You're right.
Jak and Daxter, another PS2 game that I didn't play because I didn't have a PS2 growing up. 2001, developed by Naughty Dog, people who made Crash, and we already talked about The Last of Us. This is pretty much a 3D platformer. For what I can tell, it's a little bit of a collectathon, which can be hit or miss for me, but I do like Spyro, so I'm willing to give this a shot. You can definitely feel the Crash Bandicoot influence in the combat and mechanics. Like, one of his moves is literally to jump and spin around. On top of just like collecting and platforming, there's apparently a good variety of puzzles and mini games to break up the gameplay. And it doesn't look like anything life-changing, but it's just one of those Sony exclusives I didn't have access to as a GameCube kid.
Wow, you're hitting like all of the old Sony titles. Is it still around? No.
No, they've done like the most recent thing was like a collection in 2017.
Oh. Wah, wah. Well, my next one is Xenoblade Chronicles X. I know you've played this one. I have not had the pleasure of playing this one. Developed by Monolith Soft, stuck perpetually on the Wii U. Hopefully we get like a remaster or a remake or something, a port. I would just love a port, you know? Anyway, it is set outside of the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy universe. It's in its own little world. It takes elements from the first Xenoblade Chronicles game, because obviously it's the next one that came out after. But like I said, not connected in any way. This is fascinating though. It's considered part of the wider Xeno meta series. I don't even know what that means. But that's like what all of the Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenosaga and Xenogears universe is. I have not played the other ones, so I wouldn't know, but it's called a meta series. I don't know. This game focuses more on like exploration and customization and quests more than like Xenoblade Chronicles story. So if that's your thing. Like I said, stuck on the Wii U. Hopefully it'll be ported to the Switch. I heard there are rumors, but there's been rumors about it for a very, very, very long time. But the creator or one of the directors, whatever, said that it is so heavily reliant on the Wii U gamepad that they probably won't bring it over to the Switch, which is unfortunate. They've also said that they have no plans of doing it, but, you know, that could just be a wink, wink. Get off our back thing, you know what I'm saying? But it's the only Xenoblade game I haven't played, and I own it It's sealed, and I'm not going to unseal it. And also, my Wii U is bricked, so I have to buy a whole new Wii U. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hate that for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it makes me sad every day. Waking up, I'm like, damn it. It's a bad day. My Wii U's still bricked.
Yeah, as it holds open your door, that friggin' doorstep.
It just collects dust.
Let's talk about another 2001 game, The Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I'm giving you a 2-for-1, Hannah.
Ugh, you're missing out, sir. Those are beautiful games.
So the developer is Flagship, which I thought the developer was Capcom. So when I looked up Flagship, they're kind of tied to Capcom, but I'm not going to go into that history. I didn't look too deep into it. Developer is Flagship. These both released on the exact same day, and they complement each other, obviously. So I feel pretty good about combining them here, but I don't need to go into too much detail with these. Most of everybody has played a top-down Zelda or knows what they're like. Oracle of Seasons uses the various seasons to affect the gameplay, so if you need to cross a certain area, perhaps there might be some vines that you can climb on once you change the season to spring so that the plants are in bloom. Oracle of Ages lets you manipulate time, and you travel from past to present to overcome different puzzles. They are both available on NSO. I think I own one of them. I definitely own one of them on the Game Boy Color, complete in box. But, yeah. Other than that, there is a linked ending between the two games. I think beating one of them grants you a password to input into the other. And you can, get a different final boss or something, but that's a pretty neat little feature they threw in there.
Can't believe you've never played these. I think these are on NSO, aren't they? Actually, I know they are.
Yeah.
I don't know why I asked that.
Yeah, I said that. Hannah, you gotta open your ears, Hannah.
I'm sorry. I was thinking, no, because as soon as you said Oracle Ages, Oracle Seasons, there's actually theory out there that there was supposed to be a third game, because each of the games, I believe, follow like a goddess of time. No. Shit, hold on. Well, anyway, there's 3 goddesses, and I don't know if there's code in it or if there's like a specific thing that you see the third goddess, and it's like, okay, now why do I get to play as these two or with these two, and then this one's just kind of like chilling. She's just kind of there. You can also like go explore her house, and like there seems like there should have been a third one, but they were like, you know what, 3 might be too much for the American people,
or especially for one day.
Right, that's a lot. So yeah, those games are so good. They're really difficult though. Like if you don't know a lot about like 2D Zelda games, it is a whole different beast than 3D. 3D Zelda games are pretty easy unless you get to the water dungeon. Those always suck, of course. But 2D Zelda games are like something else. They're difficult. You gotta really, really love them.
Yeah, alrighty. I gotta play them.
Let's see. My next one is .hack//GU last recode. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Or just shortened to
PS2.
.hack. Well, kind of. Yes. So this one specifically, there's actually multiple series. I don't know a lot about all of them. I just know that most of them are like really expensive. Or like only the third one in the series is really expensive. It's like $20, $30, and then like $250. If you want to finish the story, you're screwed. Anyway, this is actually a remaster of the GU games, all in one collection, of Rebirth, Reminisce, Redemption, and then Reconnection, which is an extra thing that they added I'll talk about in a sec. Developed by CyberConnect 2 and published by Bandai Namco. The game simulates an MMO, which is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Like RuneScape or like World of Warcraft or like any of those big ones. It simulates that. So obviously the person you're talking to is not a real person, but it's supposed to be like that. Was originally released on the PS2 in 3 volumes. So for whatever reason, I think it's kind of cool though, but for whatever reason they decided to release these like episodically instead of like 1, 2, and 3. Like, okay, let me explain that again. So, Xenoblade Chronicles, like 1, 2, and 3, they're all independent. You can play them all independently. The story doesn't interconnect, but like they're all by themselves. Whereas this one is like 1, 2, and 3 follows one story. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the 3 volumes were, like I said, Rebirth, Reminisce, and Redemption. Reconnection was added to end the main character's story. So apparently, like, the original trilogy was, like, left off on a cliffhanger, which would have driven me freaking insane. Or, like, enough of a cliffhanger where there was more story that they could add for this collection of games. So they added Reconnection, and it, like, concludes the story in one nice little bundle. If you know anything about Dot Hack, you'd know that it also has an anime. And I think a manga series as well, but there's, like, tons of those too. It takes place after the Dot Hack Roots anime. It follows, like, the same narrative. I think it was written by the same creator, so it's overarching. You'll see elements from each. The trilogy was remastered into the GU Last Recode Remaster and released on modern consoles. The PS4 got in 2017, and the Switch got a port in 2022, but the US didn't receive a physical. So if you want a physical, you got to import it, unfortunately. Why I want to play it, I've watched the anime, or at least parts of the anime. I think it's super cool. I love it's called isekais or whatever, where, like, the character dies or is, like, transported into another world. SAO is kind of very similar. You get trapped in a video game, blah, 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 blah. So is Log Horizon. That one's super cool. It's like video game animes, I think, are really fun. And I own one of the series completely of the Dot Hack, but it's not this one. It's the other one, where it says Volume 1, 2, and 3. So, I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think it's interesting that they released it episodically. And even some of the anime DVDs were included in the game, which I thought was also really cool.
I love that crap.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure those are even more expensive than the normal editions.
Yeah, it's been a while since you brought up that series, but that's one that you've definitely, we've searched for it when we go out game hunting together, and
yeah,
definitely one that's long-time listeners will remember that Hannah's a fan of that one.
Yep.
All right, on to Guitar Hero 2. You ever play that one?
Sorry? You haven't played that one?
That's I haven't played that one, and I haven't played the they did that little, like, 80s thing. They did, like, that spin-off that didn't have a number. Yeah, I haven't played Guitar Hero 2 yet. I did play the first one last year, I believe. Yeah, this one came out in 2006, developed by Harmonix, of course. PS2 exclusive originally, and then they actually brought it to 360 the following year with 10 extra songs, and you could buy more songs from the digital storefront. So that was the way to play it in 2007.
Oh, I did not know that, actually.
I will be playing the PS2 release whenever I get around to it, because I don't have a 360 guitar, and I'm not planning to buy one. But we have talked about how much we love this series. Everyone knows what Guitar Hero is. Even moms know what Guitar Hero is, so I'm not going to tell you about it. But I will say, I will give you a little bit of fun facts here. I felt like the first game was less forgiving than the later games. I started with Guitar Hero 3, and I'm a freaking monster at that game. But I was taking a lot of hits in Guitar Hero 1. It was painful. I think they just really want you to be spot on in that game. I'm hoping Guitar Hero 2 a little bit more forgiving, but we'll see. Unfortunately, most of the songs are cover versions again. I don't know how other people feel about those. I personally, not a big fan, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, that's all I have for GH2.
I have played, I think there's an Aerosmith Guitar Hero 2. I know there's 80s, I know there's Aerosmith. I think that's it. I've played all of them. 3 is obviously the best. 2, couldn't tell you.
I remember,
and 1 I also couldn't tell you.
I did play 2. That was probably the first time I ever experienced Guitar Hero, like, as a really young kid. 2006, I guess I was 10. I wasn't that young, but yeah, I remember, like, there's some really tough songs, like Buckethead has a freaking song in there or something. Like, that's like a really famous, like, amazing guitarist. Yeah, there's some good stuff in that game for sure.
Yeah, I remember liking a lot of the songs. One of them was packaged with the guitar. Whatever that one was, my cousin had got, and that's the first one that I played. Was that the one that was packaged with it? Or were they all
Every game comes packaged with it, or like there was a packaged option.
sick? Sick. Okay, moving on. My next one is, I talked about this last episode, I believe. It's Refined Self, the personality test game. Talked about this a little bit. Developed by Lizardy. Lizard with a Y, a Japanese indie developer. Published by Playism, which is the same people who published Momodora, Moonlit Farewell. Not the same people made it, but published it. It's on Switch, iOS, interesting, and Steam. Why play it? It's an action adventure game, or just an adventure game, where your choices are analyzed. So the game, whatever choice you make, like, oh, help that person, don't help that person, pick this up, don't pick this up. Every choice that you make is important, and the game kind of like analyzes you. So if you're a bad person, it's going to be like, you're a bad person. Or if you're a good person or a compassionate person or like an intelligent person, like it's going to tell you all of those traits as you kind of work your way through the game, which I think is really cool. We played the one game, I can't remember what it's called, but it tells you what your personality is, if you're cooperative, blah, 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 blah. I think that's totally fascinating. I don't know how true it is, but I just think it's a kind of a cool concept, and it's an indie game, so I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I was getting the same vibes from that as you were just describing it. What the heck was that game, Hannah?
But it's a little... What?
What the heck is that Switch game? What's the name of it?
I don't remember.
Unreal.
I know, it's a Japanese title. I talked about it last episode.
It'll hit you.
But this one's a little more involved than that. It's not just like little WarioWare, like little mini games. It's like actually a game that you play through.
Nice.
I think I'd enjoy it a little more, but yeah.
On to Dante's Inferno. I don't think I've talked about this one, but this came out in 2010, developed by Visceral Games, and you play as Dante, who has to travel through the 9 circles of hell to rescue his wife from Lucifer, the freaking devil himself.
Nice.
And if that doesn't sound epic, I don't know what does. This is a third-person action adventure game very similar to the old God of War titles, which I played the first one last year. Really enjoyed that crap. I'm pretty sure I would enjoy this crap as well. Fast-paced, hack and slash nonsense with a big scythe as your weapon. Lots of magic-based attacks, and Dante wields a holy cross for ranged attacks. Combat is definitely the focus of this game, and it looks like it excels in that area. And I was watching some gameplay while I was taking notes, and there are some really cool cutscenes that are like animated in a cartoon style, if that makes any sense, which is like different from the game itself, which is a otherwise very realistic depiction of hell, I imagine. Very cool, and it looks like a lot of love went into this. And this is a 360 and PS3 game. Boom.
Huh. I have heard of it. That sounds awesome. Getting to play in hell? Hell yeah, no pun intended.
You have heard of it?
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
I have. I think I own it.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I look over here like my collection's over there. It's not. It's in boxes. It's where it used to be. This one is pretty sweet. We've already talked about Ys a little bit, but I would like to play this one specifically. I believe it's the first one. It's pretty cool. It's called, if you look it up on the eShop, look up Egg Console, but it's called Egg Console. It's a series of Japanese home computer games that are being ported to the Switch. The people doing it are like retro specialists, and they're called D4 Enterprise, if you've ever heard of them. They also made the emulated versions of the Neo Geo games that were on the Wii's Virtual Console back in the day.
Nice.
So they've been around for a while. They're like experts. They do this all the time. This is their specialty. So the Egg Console specific series are games that originally came out on the PC-88. Well, I don't know what that is. Or the PC-8800, which I believe it is called, and the MSX2, which are Japanese home computer systems. If you are a computer person, you know what I'm talking about. If you're me and you, or maybe just me, you have no idea what those are. Anyway, computers. Old computers. There are a few games out now, but they have planned for a ton more. The ones that I care about are Ys 1, Ys 2, and Wanderers from Ys. But they also have Dragon Slayer 4, Xanadu, Marchenvale, Relics, Thexter, Slipheed, and Hydlide 1 through 3, etc. So there's tons of these games. If you know what they are, then you know what they are. If you are curious about them, they are on the eShop. Just look up Egg Console and they should all come up. That's how I did it. They're $6.50, so bargain. Why play? Obviously, I am determined to play all the Ys games, and $6.50 seems like a small price to pay for some of these Ys games, which are very expensive. I don't think these are the best versions to play if you're looking for like the most updated versions, because I'm pretty sure they've been re-released a gajillion times, but they're cheap and it's on your Switch. So
I feel like
but
we talked about this. Aren't they only in Japanese or something?
I don't think so. I mean, I looked up on the English eShop, like the American eShop, so
Must be thinking of something else. Yeah, that sounds like something I would be interested in. That's pretty cool.
I hope not. Now that you said that, you scared me. But they were in English, I think.
That's the kind of stuff that's up my alley. I'm intrigued. Let's talk about Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast.
Ooh,
I played this
specific.
I had a burnt copy of this because there was a very short time in my life where I would actually play PC games. And I was like very young, probably running like Windows 98 or something. But this game came out in 2002, developed by Raven Software. It is an FPS first-person shooter and also like a third-person game, just depending on the level and the weapons you're using. But yeah, I grew up, my freaking neighbor, shout out to that dude, Brendan. He hooked me up with a burnt copy, and I loved playing it as a kid. It was super cool that like you could run around with a lightsaber, rather than like roam around in vehicles. Because at the time, I had only been exposed to Star Wars games like Rogue Squadron and the Clone Wars, and I wasn't a big fan of like flying around in a TIE fighter or driving a tank or whatever. I wanted the freaking lightsaber in my hand, and this game allowed you to do that. I haven't played it in like 20 years, so I would love to revisit it, see if it's actually a great game like my child brain remembers it being. But I would love to play a lot of Star Wars games from the late 90s, early 2000s. There's a lot of cool ones back then. There's guns, lightsabers. You can even use the freaking Force, which is awesome. Like it's bound to be a blast. And on top of that, I'm a moderate Star Wars fan. I'd like to get a little bit more into the lore. So yeah, Jedi Outcast. Let me know if you have played it, if you're listening.
There are a shiz ton of Star Wars games.
Right.
The one that I remember most from my childhood is a Nintendo 64 game. I don't remember specifically which one it is. I do know that it is a black background with a stormtrooper shooting.
Might be Dark Forces.
On the cover. That doesn't sound familiar, but I remember watching my brother play it, and it sounded awesome. You got to control an AT-AT or an AT-AT if you're one of those people.
I'm not.
Shoot arounds. Awesome. Anyway, next one is a classic, Golden Sun for the Game Boy Advance. It's a fantasy role-playing game developed by Camelot Software Planning. They worked on the Shining Force series and many of the Mario sports titles. Both this one and the sequel are available on NSO if you don't feel like paying that hefty price.
Nice.
For the Game Boy Advance cartridge. These are classics. I think as far as RPGs, I don't think the Game Boy Advance got like a lot of those that are really stand out. Like I said, these are really expensive, so not everyone gets the opportunity to play them, but it's really nice that they're on NSO. I know it's turn-based combat, which again is not my favorite thing, but I feel like people have such, I don't know, it's like got such a cult following and they say it's so good that I feel like I want to experience that for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I need to play those, or at least the first one, see if I'm into it, for sure. Shout out to Camelot. I don't even think they exist anymore.
Probably not.
I'm gonna spoil one of my been buying games. I this past weekend went to Retropalooza. I got myself a nice $60 copy of Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow on the DS. Do you remember
Wow.
back in the DS days when companies would I didn't realize this until I became a collector, but companies really wanted to name their games with like D and S in the name of the game. So Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. Yeah,
Oh.
start paying
Okay.
attention to stuff like that when you're like doing research. It's actually pretty funny. There's a lot out there. Um,
Huh.
yeah, developed by Konami, released in '05. It is the first Castlevania on the DS, and it's a direct sequel to the last GBA one, which was Aria of Sorrow. Um, you play as Soma Cruz. So in Aria of Sorrow, Soma Cruz defeated Dracula and absorbed his powers. And so this game takes place 1 year later. Soma and his homies are fighting off an angry cult that want to kill him because I guess they're worried that he's gonna become the next Dracula, which is a very fair thing to be worried about. So they're fighting off this angry horde. I don't know. This is like my quick like. I looked at Wikipedia for 30 seconds. Haven't played the game yet. I
Uh
think
huh.
that's
Uh
what
huh.
happens.
Okay.
um,
Nice.
it's the same great Metroidvania gameplay that I don't need to describe, but it did introduce a new feature utilizing the sweet DS touchscreen, and it's called the Magic Seal. Where you have to like draw a pattern on the touchscreen to seal away the bosses you come across. And I think that's pretty fun.
Oh.
I literally love gimmicky crap on Nintendo consoles like that, man. Um, apparently it's like a quick time event of sorts because if you don't seal the freaking boss fast enough, then he regains health and you have to fight him again. So
Uh uh. Uh
a
uh.
lot of stress
No
there.
no no. No 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 no. So my next one, we're turning back to the Ys series, and it's Ys 1 and 2. I don't know what you're thinking. You just talked about those.
We did just talk about those.
I think that's true. I think that's true, but I could be wrong because these games have come out a gajillion times, and there's even a discrepancy. I don't remember if it's the fourth game or the fifth game, but there's like different versions. I think we talked about that a little bit. Not going to go into it. But the original games developed by Nihon Falcom, talked about them already. This version of the game consists of enhanced remakes of the first two Ys games. So I'm talking about like the collection.
Yeah.
It came out, I think, on the PC, and then it got whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Just a version of these games, I think. But this is like the more modern version. So the remakes include the first two Ys games, which are titled something completely different now. Now it's Ys 1, Ancient Ys Vanished, and Ys 2, Ancient Ys Vanished, the final chapter. I don't know. Developed by Alpha Systems, the remake was. Would later work closely with Sony Entertainment and Bandai Namco on the Tales series. So I believe they're still around, or they've been absorbed or whatever. Published by Hudson Soft. Like I said, these games have been remade and put on several different consoles, but they're like all different. I think they've been remade completely at one point. Like I said, I've been working through the Ys series. I really enjoyed Ys Origin, which is kind of different than like the more modern Ys. It's obviously 2D or quasi 2D or whatever you said, isometric, and more like hack and slashy versus like exploration and story kind of thing. But yeah, mentioning those.
Sweet. I think it's cool that you want to play through every single game, even the different versions. I think that's pretty cool.
Gonna try.
Next up, Metroid 2: Return of Samus. So, I, like
Ooh.
everyone else, played the 3DS remake and have not played the Game Boy original, and I need to correct that. So, this came out in 1991, and believe it or not, this is record breaking right here. It came out 2 months before Japan.
Wow.
We got this game before Japan. Developed by Nintendo, Samus is back on her home planet after the first game and has to go exterminate 47 Metroids before the space pirates can capture them and use them for pure evil.
Specifically 47.
I know, right? I feel like in the remake it was only 40 Metroids, but I don't remember.
Oh.
This game is known for being really challenging without a map, and it doesn't help that it's a freaking monochrome Game Boy screen, so it will probably look like you're traveling the same area repeatedly, and I bet it's going to be super annoying, but I'm definitely going to play through it. It is on NSO, so that's nice.
Woo!
I actually don't own that one physically, so I will be playing on NSO. But yeah, Metroid 2.
Nice. I'm surprised you haven't played that one. You usually always play the original and then never pick up the remaster or remake. What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with me? I have no
You're
rebuttal.
like the opposite. Yeah. It's a question for later. All right. My next one, Fallout 4 specifically.
Ooh.
I know. Look at me. Developed by Bethesda, originally released in 2015 for the PS4 and Xbox One. So in order for me to play it, I would have to succumb to being a PC gamer and play it on the computer, or get a PS4, which I probably won't do for like another 10 years, until they're like really cheap at like Goodwill for like $30-$40. So we'll see. Anyway, I watched the show and it was super fun. I love that story. I think that there is so much that they could do with that whole like kind of concept. So if you haven't seen the show, are you gonna watch it?
I'm like halfway through right now.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, so anyway, you're like these vault dwellers, and then there's like a post-apocalyptic world, like there's been nukes dropped and blah 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 blah. And so you're living peacefully in this vault, and then something happens, and boom, you have to go like in the post-apocalyptic world. I think that is such a fascinating kind of topic. I love post-apocalyptic things and like exploring ruins and like, oh, people used to live here, but like something horrible happened. Like what happened? Love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that the world is so interesting. And I would love to be able to play through that world. If you know anything about Fallout, I believe the series takes place like way after like the first game. I believe they all happen in a timeline. So 1 happens first, then 2, then 3, and then like New Vegas and whatever the other titles that aren't numbered. But apparently Fallout 4 is like the best jumping on point. They recommend you don't play the first one, but that always kind of scares me because like what if I really enjoy 4 and I want to go back and play the other ones, but like the mechanics are so freaking awful that like I'm so used to 4 I don't want to go back and play those ones. So I might go back to 1, 2, 3 and then all the other ones and then 4. I don't know. But they say it's a really good jumping on point. It's like the newest one, most modern. So I don't know. We'll see. But I just think the story is so interesting. I'd love to explore more of it.
Yeah, I need to play some Fallout 2. I'm also a slacker. I think what I heard recently was like the very first Fallout is like not even Bethesda. Like I think someone else developed that game, and then Bethesda like took over or something. But fact check that.
I'm not sure, but they're all set in like a timeline. So like I feel like it's kind of important to play all of them if you want to get the full story.
And we all know Hannah wants to get the full story.
I must have the whole story. That's the only reason why I play games.
That's
story.
Right. That's why I love you, Hannah. You're gonna love this next one. Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about.
Let's talk about how you absolutely destroyed me and destroyed my feelings and everything that...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not.
This game came out in 2000 and was developed by Nintendo. Not Game Freak, Nintendo. Holy crap, this is an addicting game and I love it so much. So yes, you came through this month and we played a lot of video games, which hopefully we will have time at the end to talk about. But we played Puzzle League for like maybe 35, 45 minutes. And I just kept getting so pissed off because I couldn't beat you.
You beat me once. That was good. You beat me once.
It's like you have 2 decades of experience under your belt or something. I don't know.
You're darn right. I've beat that game and then some.
So I actually, jokes aside, I actually really want to play this crap. Because it has a story mode and it's probably awesome. Fun fact though, when we were playing, I said, "Oh, dude, Tetris Attack is exactly like this." Um, this game is like a Pokemon version of Panel de Pon, and Tetris Attack is the North American version of Panel de Pon. So that it all makes sense now.
Oh. Oh, it's all coming together.
um, yeah. It's a match 3 puzzle game, but instead of them like falling from the sky, you have to like switch the blocks you're given and make rows or columns of 3 to make them disappear. There is a standard 2D mode, but what's new to this game that was not in any previous Panel de Pon is a 3D mode where you spin the map cylindrically, and apparently this is amazing. Like, I loved it. I played it and it was so good. Both the 2D and 3D, super fun. So thank you for showing me that game. I wrote that you came over and pissed me the heck off because you kept whooping me.
Oh, it's so funny. We played the 2-player mode, and I was playing on, I don't know, like level 7, whatever, and you're like, well, I have to play on level 7 or it's not fair. And like, our rounds didn't even last a minute. It was so funny. I think we went through like 50 rounds. It was awesome.
It's addicting. You get to choose your little Pokemon. It means absolutely nothing. You get to choose your character. It means nothing. But it's so cool as someone that grew up watching the anime. And it's like, heck yeah, I want to play as Misty. Heck yeah. Well, actually, I tried every character. I couldn't beat you no matter what. So, no, I'm really looking forward to playing through the story. And I have NSO expansion pass now as of like a week ago. So,
yay!
Fight
Woo-hoo!
me online, Hannah.
Oh, dude, you're going down. Oh, I love that game. I played it after I left your house. I kept playing it like that week, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I got addicted to this. I beat it completely, all the way through, all the hard modes, everything you could possibly do, old fashioned, on the Nintendo 64. Like, I don't know, 10 years ago. I was really bored one weekend, and I was like, yep, this is it. This is what we're doing.
I did not expect to like it as much
So
as
good.
I did.
It's so good. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you. I play good games now. All right. My next one, talked about it a little bit. It's in the Xeno Meta series, or Metaverse, or whatever the hell they said. Xeno Saga.
Nice.
It's an RPG series developed by Monolith Soft. It's a spiritual successor to the Square-produced Xenogears, which is on PS1. Very expensive. This one was published by Namco. So, okay, this was fun. So I thought that these games were stuck on the PS2, and it's kind of true. They're stuck on the PS2 for US audience, but Japan actually got a DS game of both Episode 1 and Episode 2.
Oh, wow.
I know. And apparently it's not completely different, but it's apparently a retelling of the games and is not like the exact same game. So like, they filled in some of the characters and some of the story, whatever, that didn't make any sense. And so if you played the PS2 games, you're going to play the one on the DS, and it's going to be completely different. It's a better version, according to them. And it also makes it fit in with Episode 3 a little bit better. So it just kind of expands the lore and all the characters and whatnot. It has never received an official translation or even a fan translation.
Dang.
Which makes me sad. So I will probably, I could read Japanese, but it would take me a very long time. Especially with specific language like that. Why play it? Well, why not? You know? Why not?
It sounds like you can't play it. So it's like $80. I'm looking at eBay right now. It's like $80 for the DS one.
Yep.
I like the cover art. I will say that.
Well, I could still play it on the PS2, but even those are expensive.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think. I don't know if you looked that up.
Yep.
But
Rest in peace.
yeah, one day.
Could be a good Christmas gift, though.
Unless it's like $200, in which case I'd be like, maybe not.
Maybe not. Let's talk about Final Fantasy VI. This game,
Wow.
everyone listening probably knows that this is like one of those holy crap, this is the greatest game of all time games. Came out in America as Final Fantasy III in 1994. But of course, there was that weird stuff going on where they had the numbers different in America than they did in Japan before they fixed it. So
confusing.
yeah.
Why Square? They do that with all of their series. They don't even get a pass for this one. They're all like that.
This is an RPG, and I wrote turn-based RPG, and then I looked a little bit more into it, and Square developed something called Active Time Battle that is very similar to a turn-based RPG, except each character has this little timer bar. So it's turn-based, sort of, but every time their timer is up, they can attack again. And so, like, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII right now, and I'm seeing that. But from what I was reading, like, someone at Square not only developed this, but they also patented it. And so no one else could make games until the patent expired with, like, that mechanic until, like, 2010.
What? How do you patent that?
That's pretty cool. Pretty smart from Square. But yeah, this is supposed to be one of those greatest games ever made. I've heard the soundtrack; it's incredible. The gameplay, to the story, everything about this game is supposed to be a 10 out of 10. And I'm just gonna read directly what Wikipedia has to say about the plot because it's absolutely perfect. It says, set in a world with technology resembling the second industrial revolution, the game's story follows an expanding cast that includes 14 permanent playable characters. The narrative deals with the themes of a rebellion against an immoral military dictatorship, pursuit of a magical arms race, use of chemical weapons in warfare, depictions of violent and apocalyptic confrontations, several personal redemption arcs, teenage pregnancy,
What?
and the renewal of hope and life itself.
Oh my god.
They just threw teenage pregnancy
teenage
into the rest of that. Between redemption arcs and renewal of hope and life.
But pregnancy. Wow.
Yeah, jokes aside,
What a wild ride.
like, I've heard nothing but, like, amazing things about this game, and I really want to play it.
I thought 7 was like the one to play.
Yeah,
Why have I never heard of 6?
it might be because of the numbering situation being confusing. But 6 and 7 are the two that people rant and rave about for sure.
Huh. Well, you want to know what's on my list?
FF7.
Yeah. Or the remake, because that one looks freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But the first one, developed by Square for the PS1, came out in 1997. Originally on the PS1, but you can also... Oh, a version of 7. You can play it on the PS1, PS4, Switch, Xbox One, and your iPhone. So it's a lot of places. 7 is everywhere. If you haven't played 7 on any of these, what are you doing? Me. Like me. Why play? I think, like you said, people talk about 7 as being like one of the greatest things of all time. I think it'd be cool to experience something like that. But also, like, the remake looks really awesome. And it's also kind of like, I think it's by chapters or like there's parts. It's like part 1 is out now. I think part 2 is coming soon. I don't know. But there's also, there's part 1 and then there's also like a enhanced part 2. Or like part 1 with like a little bit extra. I don't know. Like Square is so confusing about their shit. But
Let me clear it up.
I think it'd be cool
you.
to play the original and the remake. Yeah, please do.
Remake came out on PS4 like 3, 4, 5 years ago. Rebirth is part 2, I think. That is also out as of like a month or two ago.
But there's also an enhanced version.
You are correct. There's something called Integrate on PS5 that is...
There it is.
Yeah, it's the enhanced version of part 1. I see why you're confused.
Very confused. And they're all, it's not even like enhanced version, or it's like, it's got an extra title there, which makes me think that it's like the next thing, but it's not.
Right.
It's not like a plus or like, you know, like upgrade or like whatever. They're just, and it's confusing with all of their series. It's not even this one.
Kingdom
I'm
Hearts.
stupid. I need it very, very easily set out for me. Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, exactly. I hate that series just for that. I don't even know where to start.
That's it. That's all you got.
But yeah, that's all I got. Everyone knows it.
Play it. Play it alongside me. I'm having a good time with it.
That'd be fun. Episode?
I'm down for a Final Fantasy VII episode. Chrono Trigger. Holy crap! Another. Speaking of greatest games of all time, believe it or not, Square made Final Fantasy VI in '94, and then this game came out in '95. I don't know how you could just like
Wow.
hit banger after banger like that, but that's insane. I guess they're still doing that, right? Like they just did Final Fantasy 16, and now they got 7 Rebirth just came out. Square's on top of the world out here.
They got. Well, aren't they also having like a shutdown or like closing a branch or like something like that or like getting rid of a bunch of employees? I could be
I
wrong.
can't even keep up with all of that in the industry. It's
Closures.
everywhere you look.
Yeah, yeah.
This game is 1995, and so they had literally created what Square was calling the Dream Team. So you had Akira Toriyama, obviously the Dragon Ball guy, but he also was the character designer of Dragon Quest. Yuji Horii, who created Dragon Quest, and then Hironobu Sakaguchi, who created Final Fantasy. All 3 of these dudes working on this game.
Wow.
You control a few adventurers traveling through time to stop a global disaster from occurring. How epic does that sound?
Nice.
Once again, it's that active time battle thing that they had patented, and obviously it's an RPG. It's a huge plot for
Oh.
you to dive into. It's a big open world for you to explore. Amazing graphics and soundtrack. It's all there. Can't wait to play this someday. It is on 3 platforms. That's like 2 of them are worth playing it on apparently. So SNES obviously was the first one. They made a PlayStation PS1 version that's on like this compilation disc, and it's dirt cheap. You can get that for like $20 sealed. But
What?
that's apparently just an awful way to play. So that sucks. It's like
Oh.
because it's on a disc, like a lot of PS1 games suffered from really awful load times. So apparently that's just a really bad way to play.
Aw.
And then the third way is on DS, which has gotten very expensive, but is apparently a really solid way to play.
Does it have like touchscreen capability? I mean, obviously, right? Touchscreen stuff?
I don't actually know what they enhanced, but yeah, it probably has like a map or something down there.
Nice. That also would be one. It's not on my list, but that would be one that I would play.
Heck yeah.
I think that would be cool. All right. My next one, I bet 95% of the people listening have played. It's a little game called Skyrim.
Oh, I should have put that too.
Came out in 2011, developed by Bethesda Game Studios. Again, it is the 5th installment in the Elder Scrolls series as a whole. It's literally everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. Even the Switch got a port, which I just recently picked up from the Wally World for $20, which seemed, you're like, $20 for Skyrim, really? But like, it's on the Switch, you know, it's the Switch version. So that one resells for more than $20, so I picked it up. But yeah, it's Skyrim. Everyone and their mothers played it.
Except
Everyone
for us.
knows what Elder Scrolls is. I just never have.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I need to. I should have definitely put that on the list. I've never played any Elder Scrolls.
Me either.
Here's another series you never played: Resident Evil. Hannah.
Never.
Ca-
Never will I.
Came out in the year of my birth, 1996. Developed by Capcom. You play as Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, and you have to escape a mansion overrun with zombies. Everyone knows what Resident Evil is. This is one of the earlier horror games that really set the tone for the survival horror that we still see today. And for that reason alone, I want to play through this game just as a historical, important game I'd like to play. It is a third-person survival horror game. Unfortunately, it has tank controls. I played Croc on PS1 a year or two ago, and I hated tank controls. So I'm not sure how much
What
I'm
does that
gonna.
mean
Yeah, I didn't know what it
for
meant
the
either
dumb
until I
people?
experienced it. But basically, like, think of a D-pad. Don't think of a joystick. So you're moving your
Mm-hmm.
character forward with up on the D-pad and backwards with
Mm-hmm.
back on the D-pad, and then left and right. You're not moving left and right. You are turning your body left and right. So it's like you rotate
Oh.
and then you move forward. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna move diagonally left and forward. It's really bad.
No. Uh-uh.
But that's what
No,
they had to
no.
do back then. Um, yeah, it's full of puzzles, jump scares, and overall, I'm severely lacking on Resident Evil. I have played 4, I have played 6, and I played like one of the spin-off games. But 1, 2, 3, I'm missing out on a lot of Resident Evil. Sorry, you, Hannah.
I don't think I'm missing out on nothing. What number are we on?
I'm on 20.
20? Okay, cool. So my next one is Nier. I talked about Nier Automata a lot because that game was awesome. There's a whole Nier universe. It is I think it's a spin-off of the Drakengard series, which I freaking love. 3 is the shit. Anyway, in the US, the game is just called Nier over here, but in Japan, the game actually has 2 different versions for whatever freaking reason. There's Nier Replicant for the PS3, which has a younger main protagonist, and then there's Nier Gestalt, I believe that's how you say it, with the older main character that released for the 360, which is the one that the US got. I don't know why there's a difference at all, and I think that's the only difference is that the character is younger. Whatever. There's also a remaster of the game called Nier Replicant version. Stick with me here.
Oh, yeah.
1.224487139. I believe I copy and pasted that correctly, but you never know. Was released for the PS4 and the Xbox One. And even that game isn't a straight remaster. It's they said that it's different enough from the other games that you would play this one and be like, oh, this is new. Like, this is still fun. Apparently. The game was developed by Kavia, most known for the work on the Drakengard series, which I love. And, funny you mention Resident Evil, they worked on the 2 Resident Evil rail shooters, the Umbrella Chronicles and the Darkside Chronicles.
Oh, I played one of those.
The OG Nier came out over here on the PS3, but the remaster is also on the PS4. Hopefully it'll come to the Switch. I don't know if Automata sold well enough for them to even consider that, but I would be interested. Sign me up.
People seem to really like Nier nowadays.
I love it. It's so interesting. It's so different. It's so like weird. Like it's weirdly Japanese storytelling. It's got like the weirdest things, and you're like, I'm digging it, but that's weird, you know?
I remember when that weird decibel name came out. That was so great. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure. You know what? I don't even know if they explain it, but you know it when you see it.
Let's quickly go over Dino Crisis. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
All right, cool. It's basically copy and pasted Resident Evil. Came out in 1999, but you remove the zombies and you put in some dinos. Came out on PS1, Dreamcast, and PC. Literally ditto everything I said about Resident Evil. I grew up enjoying Jurassic Park, and this seems like a really cool and scary version of that. I picture like one of the scenes in one of the Jurassic Parks where like everyone's like hiding in the kitchen. Like there's this one scene in a kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about already? Like there's this freaking
The scene.
Velociraptor.
It's the scene, bro. That's the scene.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what you're talking about.
Perfect. That's what I picture in my mind when I think about Dino Crisis, and that's the whole game, I imagine. But yeah, more creepy stuff. Fun fact is that Capcom decided they were going to call this a panic horror instead of a survival horror because dinosaurs are smarter, quicker, and more violent than zombies. Okay, Capcom. But yeah, apparently this one was made to have a more intense setting than Resident Evil. You're just like more on edge as you creep around these dark environments. I don't know how much that holds up 25 years later, but I always see this and I'm like, man, I really want to try that game out. It's just a cool idea.
The panic horrors got me because, like, I panic at every horror. What are you talking
That's
about?
true.
It's always a panic. All right, my next one is a fun one. It's Born of Bread. Have you heard of it?
Born of what?
Bread. Born of Bread.
No.
Like, eat bread, sandwich bread? No?
No.
It was developed by Wild Arts Studio. It's a Paper Mario-esque game, but the character is like a golem, literally born of bread. He kind of looks like a dumpling. It's like if a dumpling grew a body and legs. So picture that in your mind. It's turn-based combat, as all Paper Mario games are. On the PS5 and the Switch and the Xbox Series X and S. I hope it's better than Bug Fables. I played that one. Was not my favorite. Exploration sucked, so hopefully it is better than that. I've heard that it runs decently on the Switch. If you're worried about that, obviously play it on the PS5. But yeah, I'm always down for a freaking Paper Mario clone, especially since Paper Mario is so divergent from what it used to be.
Did you ever beat Bug Fables or you gave up on it?
Hell no. That's one of those games I didn't finish. I believe we talked about that in that episode.
What about that Space Ghost game or whatever that, not Space Ghost, but you know that ghost game that had the really weird drama?
Oh. Yeah. Oh man, I have that. I own it. Ghost. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a cute little paper
That game probably
ghost
failed.
on the cover.
Like,
I don't remember what it's called though.
It had all that issues and it probably still sucks.
I wonder if they fixed it. I have no idea.
Hannah, you played this one last year, I think. Let's talk about the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, son. Hold on. You've never played the Oregon Trail?
I've never even experienced the Oregon Trail. This game is the oldest on our list today, without a doubt. Barely fits in the 1950 to 2050 range that we set up. This game
Oh my gosh.
came up in 1971, developed by a few dudes, probably in somebody's basement. It is a text-based strategy game, and probably the only... I won't say that. You control a bunch of people making their way from Missouri to Oregon City along the Oregon Trail. The year is 1847, and there are lots of dangers out there. You start by...
Dysentery.
You start by buying supplies, and then you go through up to 12 rounds where you have to make decisions, and each decision represents 2 weeks on this journey. Your supplies are food, bullets, clothing, miscellaneous supplies, and money. You can choose to hunt, resupply, choose how much food to consume, and so forth, but you have to worry about raiders attacking you, bad weather slowing down your trip, and of course, dysentery. You lose when you can't afford the supplies you need, or if everyone gets sick and dies, or stuff like that. Did I miss anything, Hannah?
No, I think you pretty much nailed it.
How does it hold up in 2024?
I stupidly love this game. There's even like a stupid card game or like board game, and I have that too, and that's also fun. I love this game. I talked about it, I can't remember when, but I was like, I feel like I need to experience this. And then I was bored one day, and I was volunteering at my friend's school because she's a teacher and whatever, and I just sat in the back and played the game. There's definitely a learning curve. The tip I can give you is always hunt. Always hunt. When you give in the chance to hunt, you hunt. You need that food.
Not many video games are 50 years old, but this game is 53 years old.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's 53 years old, but like I still had a heck of a lot of fun with it. It's just going back and dying and dying and dying over and over again and being like, okay, what can I change? What can I change? And I don't know like the program behind it, and I don't know how much of it like is random and like what are the percentages that someone dies of dysentery or someone fucking drowns or is run over by a horse or like whatever it is. But like it is difficult. There is a steep learning curve there.
Heck yeah. I'm all in on Oregon Trail.
It is a lot of fun. Okay. This one we've talked about, and I would very much like to play it at some point soon. Dokapon Kingdom.
Oh, I was gonna write that. I forgot.
Yeah, man. So this is fun. So Dokapon Kingdom on the PS2 is actually a remake of a game called Dokapon 321. Didn't know that. Released in 1994 on the Super Famicom. So Dokapon Kingdom Connect, which is the remake on the Switch, is a remake of a remake, or like a remaster of a remake.
Yeah, probably that one.
I don't know what you classify it as, but I didn't realize that there were more games in the Dokapon series. There's actually like 7 games, like
What?
2 remakes and remasters, and like some side games and like some mobile games.
Wow.
I did not know that. So the remake came out on the PS2 and the Wii, and Connect, I believe, is only available on the Switch. I don't know if it's like a time exclusive or like just exclusive. But yeah, if you don't know, it's like a mix between an RPG and like Mario Party. It's like a party game. I haven't played it, so I don't know exactly what it's all about, but that sounds really fun.
It is on the list, and I will totally sign up for an episode of that game.
Heck yeah.
We've talked a little bit about run and guns. Let's talk about the run and gun series, Contra. I have not played through Contra 3, or most of the Contras actually, but Contra 3 The Alien Wars on Super Nintendo came out in 1992, developed by Konami. One of the best games on the Super Nintendo for sure. At least that's what critics claim. Amazing graphics for sure. There's an alien invasion on Earth, and you have to fend them off. Go figure. Really tough game, but not impossible. It's like a good difficulty level, and the gameplay is super addicting. Gun variety is very good. Even in 2024, you're still impressed with some of the stuff they were able to pull off on the Super Nintendo. Lots of really cool ideas. And, of course, like any good Contra game, simultaneous 2-player co-op is a thing.
Nice.
You're up.
I'm up. Is this the last one?
Not for me.
Okay. I've been jumping around. I should have done this a little bit better so we don't end up on a boring one. But this one is called Famicom Detective Club.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard of it? Yeah. I'm specifically talking about the one on the Switch that, for whatever reason, did not get a physical in the US. In Japan, I think in Europe, got like the really cool, like fancy special edition one. It's an adventure game. It's like a text adventure game where you choose commands from a menu and you get to like suss out a mystery and see what the heck's going on around town. There are 2 Famicom Detective Club games, obviously first released on the Famicom. The first one is called The Missing Heir, released in 1988. The second is a prequel to the first game called The Girl Who Stands Behind, and released the following year in 1989. Why play? I think it's super cool that Nintendo, for whatever reason, decided to remake these, or like remaster? I don't know, whatever it is. Remake these games that had only released on the Super Famicom over there in Japan. And I think also on like, I don't know if it's like an episode or like extra content or whatever, released on like one of the peripherals that was specific to Japan. So the fact that they even thought about this series and brought it over for US consumers to enjoy, I think is super cool.
Yeah.
And I like to support that.
I thought the same thing. I remember that Nintendo Direct and thinking that was like a super cool and random thing to bring over. Very cool. You think it's something you would enjoy though?
I think so. I don't have a lot of experience with that kind of game, but like I feel like if it's an interesting story, you know, your girl loves story, that I could play anything.
Nice. Yep. Banjo-Kazooie. Is this on your list, Hannah?
Definitely not.
Go find the last 2 because I have 3 more, which means you have 2 more. So go through your list there. But Banjo-Kazooie, 1998, developed by Rare. You know, every time I think of Rareware, I think of that time we did that video together for YouTube, and you couldn't say Rareware to save your life.
Rareware. When you say it fast, it's hard.
It wasn't even just that. It was Rareware's Rare Replay on Xbox One.
Rareware's Rare Replay. It's hard, alright?
Me and Hannah, because y'all don't know what the heck I'm talking about, did a video in like 2020, 2021 for the Bird Dog Gaming YouTube channel. And I had to ask her to... It was like part of the script. She just could not for the life of her say this phrase.
You're looking at me like, bro, just say it. I'm like, I can't. Yeah, good times.
You gotta save Banjo's sister from Gruntilda the Witch. Everyone's heard of this game. It's the Rareware game, and me and Hannah have never played it somehow. It has an amazing soundtrack. The world has a ton of charm. The game is supposed to be pretty amazing, but it's a collectathon, so I'm not sure how that can be possible, but I'm willing to give it a go. Should we do an episode on this game? Let us know. It is available on Nintendo Switch Online. It is available on Rare Replay. That's all I'm going to say about Banjo.
How about everyone votes no? We don't want an episode on that. No, thank you. Okay, my next one I also talked about, I believe, in the ports video like 3 years ago now. Ports that we wanted. It's called No Man's Sky. It's developed by Hello Games. It's an action-adventure survival game. Came out first on the PS4 in August of 2016, the Xbox One in 2018, PS5 and Series X and S in 2020, and then finally came over to the Switch in 2022. So fairly recently, I would say. I do not have a lot of experience with like cool spacey games that are like more open, of course, than like Star Fox or whatever. We were kind of like on a set track. And I think this one being able to like explore all of these generated planets and all this wildlife and all this flora and fauna, I think is super cool. I picked it up. It was such a weird thing. Such a weird story. I was in Colorado for Christmas. I think it must have been 2 years ago now. And I didn't have a car because obviously I flew out there and I wasn't going to drive their car because hell no, am I driving in snow. And I had to convince my brother and his girlfriend and a friend that was with us that we should go conveniently to this brewery, which is right next to the Target where this game was on sale for like $20. So we went out during a blizzard. I convinced them during a blizzard to go out, and so I get this game for $20, and I still haven't played it, and it's been like 2 years. But I have it now. So that'd be fun. But yeah, you can literally just get in your rocket ship and like you explore all these planets. I just think it's so cool.
Yeah, that game's always kind of fascinated me. I feel like it has come and gone in waves, and people will get hyped for like a new expansion or something. Will drop a new update, but overall, I think that game probably failed commercially. It just like it failed initially, and then it got better like years in. It's probably great to play now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how many of those updates the Switch got, if all versions got it. I'm not sure. But
yeah.
I don't know. Base game's probably still good if it came out freaking 5 years later, 6 years later.
That's true. Let's talk about Kuru Kuru Kururin. Game Boy Advance.
Love the game. Beat it. Let's go.
Came out in 2001 for Europe and Japan only. Developed by A-Ting. You control a spinning stick, is what Wikipedia calls it, but we found out recently it's actually the top-down view of a helicopter. And you try to navigate through some really freaking hard mazes, and you touch a wall too many times, and you have to start the level over. It feels like something you'd see on an iPhone nowadays, but without all the ads. It's great. Lots of customizations you can do to your quote-unquote stick, but it's a first-party Nintendo game that has always looked like a lot of fun to me. It got a few sequels in Japan. I think there's like one on GameCube, but yeah, there's a few sequels over there. But if you've ever been curious about this game, you can play it on Nintendo Switch Online. That's how I will be experiencing it.
It is very fun. So there's an easy mode and there's a hard mode. I said this before and it came out wonky. I'm going to try to say it nicely. Easy mode, your helicopter blade is smaller, and then in hard mode, your helicopter blade is longer, so that it's easier to hit the sides and whatever, so it kills you faster. And boy, is it difficult on hard mode.
I bet it's difficult on easy mode.
Hit those sides. It's not that bad. Like the skinny things, if you're lined up perfectly, like in the middle, it will never hit. I mean, it can be confusing. It's a lot of fun though. You also collect like cute little birdies, and you can customize your blade. It's pretty sweet.
Nice.
Pretty sweet. All right, my last one is Monster Hunter Stories 1, and then if that goes well, 2. It is a spin-off of the Monster Hunter series, which we have little experience with, but what experience we do have, it was frustrating. With Monster Hunter Rise. Instead of playing as a hunter in this game, though, you play as a rider. It's basically an RPG, like Monster Tamer game. So it's dramatically different from the OG series. It was developed by Capcom and Marvelous. which is the people that do the Story of Seasons games. Originally came out on the 3DS, but they have recently brought it over to the Switch, so now you can play both 1 and 2 on your Switch. I think this one is fun. It's cute. It's more like anime cartoony versus like the more serious style of the other Monster Hunter games. I don't know. I like Monster Tamer games in small doses. I'm playing through, like I said, Dragon Quest Monsters now, and it's kind of similar. It's like Pokemon. But being able to like experience the story and catch cool looking like monsters and dragons and stuff, I think would be fun.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I wouldn't. Monster Hunter Rise didn't give me such a bad taste that I couldn't experience the rest of Monster Hunter.
Spin-offs are always great. Well, that's not true, but spin-offs are always great to try if you like the OG series, or don't.
Let's finish it off with another Hannah favorite here, Paper Mario.
Ooh. On the Nintendo 64? The OG one?
Yeah, that's the one. So it came out in 2000. Unless you're an American, it came out in 2001. Need I remind you, the GameCube also came out in 2001. So this is a pretty late release N64 game. Developed by Intelligent Systems. Hannah has covered this game a whole lot. It's a turn-based RPG where everything is two-dimensional and made of freaking paper. Everyone knows Paper Mario. Successor to Mario RPG on Super Nintendo. Was originally planned to be developed by Square, but they were busy with Final Fantasy VII, is what Wikipedia says. Bowser imprisons the 7 star spirits and also steals Peach, so Mario has to go get the 7 star spirits and use them to save Peach. Pretty standard Mario stuff as far as the plot goes. This and the Thousand Year Door are like two of people's absolute favorite games ever, and I've already played the Thousand Year Door. So this one needs to be next for sure. Why didn't this one get remade? What's going on there?
That's what I'm saying. It's probably because they just want to charge $60 for a GameCube game. You know, like they've done countless times before.
This one is available on Nintendo Switch Online. I don't know if I'll play it on NSO or on the N64, but I have both options available.
I love this game. I feel like if you play through it, I will also play through it again because it's been a while. It's one of those games that you can play through so many different times and experience it in different ways. It's very fun.
Yeah, I know I'll have a great time with it.
That was a good closer. Nice one.
I appreciate it. It was kind of because I knew we were going to be doing a giveaway for Paper Mario. That's why I actually put that one last.
Smart.
Let's do Discord responses because that was 50 games that we want to play, but we also want to hear about games that you want to play. So I threw a question up like 6 hours ago, and we got some good responses in that time. The question was basically, what is one game that you really want to play that you haven't played ever before that came out in the year 2000 or prior? To tell you the truth, I said before the year 2000, and then I got like 3 responses that were like on the year 2000, and I said, screw it. So, shout out to those of you that follow the rules. So right off the bat, we got our first answer was from the Fleo, Xenogears.
Hey, that's one I didn't put on my list, but it's in the Xeno metaverse.
Not the Xeno metaverse. X Button Gaming says Ape Escape. I love 3D platformers and have somehow managed to have never played any of the Ape Escape games. Feel that. I have 1 or 2 of them, and I've heard from a friend that they are so good. I need to play some Ape Escape for sure. I think those would be good stream games. Dan Evil Robot says Banjo-Tooie. I know we don't have much to say about that. Bitsy Link says Earthbound. Hannah, you gotta play Earthbound, dude. What a great freaking game.
Yeah, I'll get on that.
Craig's Game Room says Persona 1. I think what he actually said was, I'm a freaking noob because I've played all the other Personas, but not the first one. Something like that.
Right. Sounds about right.
Mora Bros, shout out to this guy because he always shouts out our freaking podcast. Mora Bros said Ultima 4 Quest of the Avatar on PC.
What is that?
Ultima is one of those series that's like genre defining. I don't even know what genre it is, but it's a genre defining series for whatever genre it is. maybe CRPG, computer RPG. That might be the genre. But yeah, Ultima, very important series.
Huh.
Daily Beating said Donald Duck going quackers. I don't know why he said that, but all right. That was a very happy response.
That's on Nintendo 64, isn't it? Or no?
Yeah, I guess it has to be. It came out in 2000.
I have that.
Fun Time Wallace says Vagrant Story, which is a PS1 game. And Now I Rock a Teller Suit says Chrono Trigger. Same, buddy.
Wow. Nice.
That's it.
Good stuff.
Thanks for the responses. It's so last minute, guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, sorry for slacking. It's my bad.
Yeah, Hannah's been traveling like heck, but we should be able to get back to it. Back to the research-driven episodes. Maybe in June, we'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's start with been playing. Oh wait, you have news, right? We do news first.
Yeah, I can blow through these real quick. So, The Legend of Zelda is finally getting a Lego set. It's both the Ocarina of Time Deku Tree and the Breath of the Wild Deku Tree. That's pretty sweeto. It's like $300 though.
You could buy a Switch or you could buy that.
Right. What would you rather have? It's pretty cool. They showed the little Zelda minifigs. Those are pretty cool. I like Legos, but like I like to look at them. I don't really like to build them.
Really?
Or spend $300 on them. I will be passing, but they are pretty cool looking. Nintendo is also opening another store in the U.S. In San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
So you got one on each coast now. I think it's opening in 2025, I believe they said, maybe 2026. So not anytime soon. Also, Nintendo says that the Switch successor will be shown off by this fiscal year, which is by March 31st of 2025. If you didn't know, their fiscal year is March to March. It's confusing for us. Also, they announced that a Direct is coming in June, but it will not talk about the Switch successor. That will be later. This will be more focusing on the games for this year, and then that little time of next year. Also, this is pretty exciting. I found this out while looking up news. A trusted leaker called Midori has posted that Monolith Soft's next project with Nintendo is in development, and it's codenamed Legacy. So who knows what that is, but boy, is that exciting.
Xenoblade X.
Final thing is Nintendo acquired Shiver Entertainment, who is responsible for the port of Hogwarts Legacy to the Switch. So who knows what they'll do. Maybe they'll be in-house porters, or maybe they'll make their own games. I don't know. But Nintendo be taken.
Interesting. I don't have any news
That's
this time around, but appreciate you. Let's talk about all the crap we played when you were here. Dude, you were here not that long, but we managed to play a lot of freaking games.
Heck yeah.
And we started with, of all things, some James Bond game. Was Agent Under Fire?
No, Nightfire, my guy. Nightfire.
It was a game. It was interesting.
It was fun. It was fun. You didn't get to play the story mode, but it literally jumped you right into like the first level, and you were like in a helicopter and you were shooting things, in your car shooting things. That's fun.
It's a game.
Gotta say that's fun.
And then we played Excite Truck. That's the one.
Excite Truck. That one we had a lot of fun just because we were like, what is going on? What is happening? It's on the Wii, and it was so sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you had to, like, keep that thing so straight if you wanted to go straight. And even just, like, a little tilt. And you're swerving off into the freaking mountainside. But it was so fun.
Yeah, that one was all right. I don't know. We talked about Pokemon Puzzle League. What else did we play? There was that weird game. You couldn't remember the Japanese game's name.
Yeah, I don't remember. I could look it up, but
yeah, we talked about it last month though. If y'all are wondering what the heck we're talking about, that weird eShop Switch game. We went to the arcade and we played a lot of stuff, but we actually stood at an arcade machine called. Do you remember the name?
Vindicators.
That's right, the freaking Vindicators. This is like. It's 2-player co-op simultaneously, and you control two tanks, like one tank per player. But the controls are literal. I guess tank controls is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you move two different handles left or like forward and backward to rotate your tank
Yeah.
or to move it forward or to move it backward. Like it's very cool. Um the game was pretty tough, and if we were spending quarters it would have been like $100 each.
Yeah, yeah.
um
Definitely.
yeah, Vindicators. And then I went home and looked up Vindicators 2. It does exist, and there was like next to no copies of that arcade cabinet made. So
I know, that makes me so sad. I was gonna text you after and be like, is there like a compendium or like a whole list out there of all these arcade machines and then where to go play them?
right, that's a good idea for a
But
website.
I doubt that there is. I was like, I want to play this game. It was so freaking fun. We sat there for, I don't know, like an hour and a half, whatever, beat the whole damn thing. But like, you're sitting there and we looked ridiculous holding onto these tank controls and like going forward and backwards and forwards and backwards. And like, it's one of those things where if you think about like the controls, then you mess yourself up. It's just kind of like intuitive. You go this way, you go that way, you go this way, that way. Because it's not like you punch it forward and you go forward. You turn on a curve. So you have to like keep going left, right, left, right, left, right to go straight. And then halfway through the game, we realized that you can turn the tank thing, the missile thing on the top.
Oh,
We had just been
yeah.
like turning our bodies the whole time.
Very in-depth
And we just kind
game.
of stuck with that.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And then there's upgrades, all sorts of fun stuff. I loved it. That's like the most fun I've ever had playing an arcade game was that one. It was
Wow,
awesome.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, the sequel is available on like I think it was a Midway game or an Atari game, but like you can play the game on like a digital collection if you go get one from like the 360 or something. That would actually be kind of cool if like you could use the joysticks on the controller. That would
Yeah.
probably be
Yeah.
I put a thumbs up and
Hey!
FaceTime hit the fireworks in the background. That's amazing.
That's cool.
Anyways, yeah, Vindicators. Check it out if you ever see it. You'll probably never see Vindicators 2 at an arcade.
My God, it was so fun. And if you do see Vindicators 2, comment down below where you found it, and me and Christian will fly out and we'll play it.
What did we play anything else?
Yeah, we played the Ribbit King, the Froggy Golf.
Heck yeah, we played Ribbit King. That was fun.
That one was fun. That was a surprise. How fun that one was.
That game it's frog golf, and they literally call it Frolf.
Frolf. The town of Frolf. Yeah, it's fun. It's exactly what it sounds like. A ribbit golf, and then your frog can move, ribbit, jump, jump. It's just, it was fun kind of, it doesn't tell you exactly what's going to happen. It was fun kind of figuring it out as you went along.
Truthfully, it got repetitive pretty quick. I don't know. I could see it being fun for a little bit, but it did get pretty samey. The way we played 2 or 3 different rounds, and it got old kind of quick, but it was pretty good.
Still fun.
I feel like we played something else on NSO, but yeah.
I don't remember. We tried to play Pocky and Rocky, but
Oh yeah.
we didn't. I think that was it.
I don't know what else we played at the arcade, but
Oh,
tell me.
we played Suika.
Oh, Suika game is pretty
watermelon
good.
game.
That was fun.
That was very fun.
For sure. Heck yeah. I'm always glad when we get to hang out IRL and play some games together.
And play games, did we? We played a lot.
For sure. Yeah, I was like, do you want to go to game hunting? I kind of hit all the game stores. We chose to skip the Goodwills, skip the GameStops. We just actually played the games this time.
I know, what a surprise. We're not just collecting, we're playing this time.
On top of that, is there anything you've been playing on your own?
I mentioned it before, but Monster Hunter, no, Jesus, Dragon Quest Monsters. I don't know why I get those confused. Dragon Quest Monsters, it's a spin-off. It's like Pokemon meets, I mean, there's not really RPG elements. I mean, there are, but like outside of the Pokemon kind of stuff. You train up these monsters and blah, 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 you catch them, whatever. But the cool thing about it, it's different, is you can like synthesize them together and then you can create other monsters. Which sounds different. It sounds cooler than it actually, I mean, it is cool, but it sounds different than it actually is. It's not like you merge this flying monster with this slime and then you get a unique monster. It's like there's classes of monsters. So you put this monster with this monster and you get a third monster. But you can also merge that third monster with another one and then get the third monster again. So it's like, it's not like you get a unique creatures. There's a set
I know what
that
you
you
mean.
can get based on those parameters. But yeah, it's still really fun. It's repetitive though. If you're not like super into Pokemon, catching monsters, training them, blah 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 blah, then you're not gonna like it so much. But it's fun.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
I took a 5-day weekend this past weekend. I played a lot of video games, but like over the last month, dude, I think I talked about Wario Master of Disguise last month. But I've been
Yeah.
making a lot of progress in that. That's actually really fun. Really enjoying that. Would recommend. And I got this game for my birthday, so I've talked a lot about 2 Point Campus and how I really like management games. I got Park Beyond, which came out last year from Bandai Namco, like flew under the radar for sure. Like I'm pretty sure like 7 people bought this game worldwide. I really wanted it. It's a roller coaster tycoon knockoff basically. Like you make your freaking theme park and you make your roller coaster. Literally, you can customize it so in depth. But I'm like halfway through that game. I'm having a blast with that, and also been playing more Final Fantasy VII and Avatar. Just more Park Beyond and Wario Master of Disguise lately.
Sounds like you'd be a Sims man.
Yeah.
You ever played The Sims?
The thing about these games I've been playing though is that they have goals and I can roll the credits on them. You know.
Ah, so, right. So it's not like self-made goals. We're talking like developer-made goals.
Exactly.
Oh,
But I also like Animal
interesting.
Crossing, right? Like, but I can only play Animal Crossing to an extent. There's no, I don't know. You can only get so far in Animal Crossing, and you definitely can't roll credits in that game.
Jeez, man, pick a lane. You like credits or no credits?
What you been buying?
So, without boring anyone with the details, I have been going around to all of the Walmarts between here in Florida, Central Florida, to Denver, Colorado. Okay? Because they put a lot of games on clearance for like $5, $10, $15, whatever. I think I mentioned it last time. I got a whole bunch for like $5. And also they've been putting games like Pokemon Snap, Mystery Dungeon, Bravely Default 2, Advance Wars, Reboot Camp, Cereza and the Lost Witch, I think, or Lost something, Bayonetta 3, sometimes Mario Golf, sometimes Mario Tennis. They would clearance them out to 3 cents, which is something that Walmart has done in the past. And you can usually buy those games for 3 cents. I've done it before. And so for fucking whatever reason, they changed their policy and you could no longer buy these games for 3 cents. But like, I have literally had hundreds, maybe even $1,000, a stack of like 30 games that I knew were 3 cents because you could scan them on the app and it would show 3 cents. And they would not let me take them. They're like, oh, these are on recall. We have to send them back. And I was like, so you can't sell them to me? And they said, no, we cannot. And I said,
With tears in your eyes.
so can I take them? So it's like, can I take them? And they're like, no, of course not. We have to send them back.
Idiot.
And I was like, but they were on the shelf for me to buy. I don't understand. Ugh, it made me so angry. And I did not do this once. I did not do this twice. I did not do this 3 times. I had them in my hands
Oh my god.
a dozen times. And none of them let me take them. So I don't know when they changed their policy or like when Walmart started being like not cool. But I did not get my hands on a single 3-cent game.
Dang, dude.
And every time I left, I texted you and I was like, I'm gonna turn to the life of thievery. I'm just gonna do it and run out the door.
So you snapped me today even at Walmart. Was that because you were looking for games?
Yep.
Literally, this woman is
That's
driving across the country looking for this stuff.
I'm not kidding. I swear to God, I went to 50 Walmarts. I don't know. I just thought maybe one of them between Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado would let me get away with buying these 3-cent games. And guess what? Fucking none of them did. And I snapped you like a month or two ago when I was in Florida, and there was on the shelf, it was advertised as 3 cents. I don't know what game it was. I think it was Bayonetta 3. And I was like, damn, I missed it. So I was like, it's out there. That's the only Walmart, apparently, in the whole world that you can buy 3-cent games. Oh, it made me so angry. I was like, if I steal these, they're not really your merchandise. You're not selling them. You're not losing anything anymore. I should just steal them.
So the price tag on that Bayonetta or whatever said 3 cents.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It said they printed out the label, they put it in the clear plastic like shelf thing, and it said 3 cents.
So freaking funny.
It's so funny. Ha ha, I'm laughing. Makes me so you know some employees like, yeah, I'll take that. It's like, oh yeah, the game's just disappeared.
Alright, nothing else you've been buying then?
Could have been me. No.
I'm excited to show you a stupid Switch game I bought. You might know if I hint at it. What game was $10 at Best Buy the other night, like a week ago?
$10 at Best Buy? Sparks of Hope, Mario and Rabbids.
It gets worse than that. Everybody, 1-2 Switch.
Yay! That's another game that was 3 cents. I have that too. I also bought it for $10.
Dang. Sorry, I didn't mean to trigger you.
Oh, are you gonna open it? Are you gonna play it?
No, I'm not gonna freaking open it. I'm not gonna play it, Hannah.
Why'd you buy it?
Because it's a first-party Nintendo game for $10, brand new and sealed. No, I don't know. Maybe one day I will open it. It says up to 8 players with Joy-Con or up to 100 players with a smart device. All right, Nintendo.
Oh, no. They didn't do that, did they?
They just danced it.
Oh. Ugh. Man.
I got my 482nd GameCube game, Top Angler.
I thought you were going to say $480 game. I was about to say fishing.
Other than that, the other highlights, I got Dynamite Heady, a Sega Genesis game. And I got Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, which I already talked about. And I got Toe Jam and Earl 3, Mission to Earth. Let's go.
Wow, what is that on?
Xbox exclusive.
Oh. Wow, look at you. That's a lot.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff because I went to Retropalooza this weekend, which I guess, to quickly mention it, it was pretty alright. I'm glad my friend was with me.
Oh.
I had a good time, bought like 10 games or something, but it was honestly a lot of variety, a lot of vendors selling a lot of stuff, which was cool. Just not a lot of stuff I wanted to buy, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure I'll go back next year just because it's so close to my place, like 30 minutes away. It's fun.
That's not bad. Is it better or worse than Classic Game Fest?
Classic Game Fest definitely reigns supreme in the Houston or in the Texas state, I suppose. Like I like Classic Game Fest a lot. It's bigger.
That's what I'm talking about. That was fun. I spent a lot of stupid amount of money there.
That was the first time we met, like 7 years ago or something.
Yeah. 7 years? I feel like it's been longer than that. But yeah, I brought my friend. She was, coming through on a road trip and she stopped by. That was a lot of fun though. That was like one of the first big cons, like specifically like gaming cons I had been to. It was a lot of fun.
I think you bought something on the GameCube. Like, I can't believe I remember this. You bought like Zelda Collector's Edition or like, oh no, the Master Quest? Maybe?
Yeah, I bought Master Quest.
Why the heck do I remember that?
I don't know. I bought that, and then that's where I bought Baten Kaitos. Or Baten Kaitos, the first one. On this, it was $13.
Wow,
bro, $13. That's when freaking retro collecting was not crazy like it is.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up here. 2.5 hours in, 1:30 a.m. in Florida.
That's right. That's right.
What do you want to say to the listeners on episode 50, Hannah?
Thank you for sticking with us for 50 episodes. It has been a very fun ride. Look forward to this every month. I'm sorry that it's late sometimes, and I'm sorry that I missed the question of the month sometimes. But yeah, definitely enter the giveaway if you're interested. And thanks for sticking around.
Thanks a lot, guys. Please just let us know what you want to hear from us. We like comments and suggestions. There's a whole channel in the Discord you can use for that, or you can comment on the YouTube video. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. If you have any questions about entering the giveaway, please reach out. We are happy to help.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hopefully we can celebrate another 50 episodes in 2028, 2029, something like that.
Definitely.
It's a long time away.
Yeah. We'll be 30 years old. We'll be 30. Woo-woo.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. We will see you guys next month. Where can the people follow you, Hannah?
Game Girl Advance SP on Instagram.
Actually, we'll see you this month because this is coming out in June. So you're getting 2 June episodes.
Yeah. Woo-woo.
Follow me at Bird Dog Gaming on all social media, and we will see you guys later this month for another episode.
See ya.